Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome back to Diamond Hands Trading Channel. Today I'm just going to be doing an emergency update because we've had some bullish price action. As you can see here, Bitcoin took out the high of the run, which was previously 24.3K at the beginning of February. Kind of went above it. As you can see now, even if we make a little ray there, kind of wicking up into as resistance now. Had to close above, but yeah, so basically I'm going to be looking at Bitcoin, Ethereum. I'm going to try and keep it really short and sweet. I know you guys had some chart requests in the Telegram, and I'm going to go back and try and find them now. Here we are. Drop them below in the comments. It seems like you guys want to see Torn, VRA, VRA, Matic, and Optimism. So we will have a look at that towards the end of this video. Primarily, we're going to be looking at Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the most bullish one I'm currently paying attention to is Acro and Bonk. So it's going to be about 10 minutes, but if you stick through it, hopefully you'll learn something. All right. So first off with Bitcoin, we've had this incredible run up once we finally flipped that 18.2K range, which was like the range of our entire bear market, right? All throughout November, 18.2 to like 15.5. And we just hung around the mid-range, 16.8 for a while. You guys all know that. We had our nice run up. It's kind of been rounding off here, as you can see. Had that downtrend. So the downtrend, all I did, guys, was draw the trend from these 2 points. And then you just extend it. And you can see how it like flipped it for a minute, failed, rejected back down to this midline here, which was the high here, right? 21.5. Found support at 21.5, ended up breaking out, and then had a nice retest of the trend here, bullish retest. And that's where I said that's your trigger to go long, 21.5. Put your stop loss back below those wicks or wherever your risk is defined. And we were targeting originally bottom of Monday's range, 22.6, or to the top of the range, 23.1. It was just kind of cool that it took off and ended up taking out these highs. So they're definitely messing around, trying to take out bears and making it very difficult to go short. Like no one really knows if this is the top. I do have a lot of friends like Trader SC who is going short at these levels. And his trading plan is he's kind of expecting another run up towards these highs, like just to liquidate everybody out, because clearly this is going to be the liquidity point. If price was to pump up here, everyone's stop losses are going to be right there, right? So he's taking the short here because he's thinking, let's delete this long here. This is like his trading plan. He's thinking like 18K back below 20, rejecting these previous highs here at 24.3K. And here's basically the plan for that. So he wants to be in the position now, just in case we do just kind of start making our way down, right? But he is also having his risk defined that if price, he's expecting them to run that stop, right? So what would you do if that were to happen? If it was to go up there, start rejecting, and then make its way back down, then you know your trade thesis is validated. And you can tighten your stop loss a little bit to that like new high that was printed. And maybe even add to it on the way down if you'd like. Right? So then your entry is maybe like right there, 24.7, something like that. Yeah, so that's what I would say to do. If it didn't, so say it does run those highs, but starts closing above this wick here, 25.3, and then maybe even starts finding support, just kind of like this, then I would no longer want to be in a short, and you would want to be going long instead. Right? So you need to be able to flip your biases depending on what the market does. So you have a plan for both. Really, you could just put your stop loss back below here. targeting 28.6 or even 32K if you were really thinking we get another run, right? So that's the plan for Bitcoin. Currently, like I said, the short is probably the better play for now. I mean, it could just end up rejecting here. This is a very strong resistance level. Even if we go back to, like, let's see, let's look at the weekly for a minute. I mean, the weekly looks pretty good. I could definitely see a run back up to 28K, or at least to here, like 26.5, that low we printed in May of 2022. But yeah, as you can see, right where we currently are is literally right where this weekly close was in the beginning of August. So you can see that that's like a big S&R level to flip, right? And it's literally right on that line. So I had it right. So it's a good idea, not a bad play to go short now if that's what your trading thesis is. Really, though, you're not invalidated unless price pumps up here, right? The trade thesis is not invalidated unless it goes above those highs. Most people will keep their stop losses above that current high. But, if bulls were to run it, they would all get liquidated. They'd fill their own shorts and then send it back down. Just to know early shorters are getting away with their position, right? So the best thing to do is, if you are going short, is to expect that happening and have your risk defined. So I'm not 100x short here with my, or 10x short. Maybe I'm only like 1x, 2x. Maybe my plan is to increase it to 10, depending on what happens. So, like we said, if it runs the highs, then I'm like, instead of my stop loss being up here, let's say it starts rejecting again, comes back down, maybe I'll add to it, right? I'll add some more, and then we'll tighten that stop loss just above that new high that was printed, right? Or in the other case, where if price came up and started closing above and then like maybe wicked below but was still closing above this high here, 25.3, then you're like, fuck, this short really like no longer looks good. There's no point in sticking with your stop loss in that scenario, right? So like it's clearly starting to see like it's holding 25.3K as support. Then it makes no sense for me to still be short, because I'll still lose from 25.3 to here is like an extra 5%, especially if you're leveraged short. That's, why wait? You know what I mean? We're not gambling here. Our bias has changed because it's holding this level we thought it would reject as support, right? So in that case, we would flip long, like I said a moment ago, and we would be targeting, the 28K range, maybe even 32K. Something like that, or you hold it even tighter if you want to go on low time frame and have tighter targets if you are using high leverage, right? So if you're using high leverage, that's kind of the play. You'd be looking for like 26.5 with a stop loss below one of these wicks that it created. Or if using 2x or x, or just buying spot, you could have your stop loss down here and be targeting 28 to 32K. That's what I'd be looking at. Okay, so that's Bitcoin. I'll have a one look at low time frame for everybody and delete all this crap. I mean, yeah, it currently doesn't look. It's kind of neutral right now to me. You know what I mean? It looks like it's still holding that weekly level we just created as support. It's still really too early to tell. What you could do is create a little range here if you'd like. Maybe look for a short entry at 24.8 at that midpoint, right? Starts rejecting, then yeah, say it starts rejecting, comes back below this, and then retest it as resistance again, then you know, okay, short, that would be the short plan. Let's say, whoops, right? Boom. You would take profit here just in case it does bounce. And then if it breaks below, like here, and then retests resistance, then you add it back on. If you haven't closed the entire thing already, if you close the entire thing already, you'll just re-short it, and then we'll be targeting, 23.2 or lower. I would expect these lows get taken out at the very least, right? Right around 23.3. So that's Bitcoin. Let's look at Ethereum. I just posted a chart in the Telegram not that long ago. It's basically this channel. Hold on. Looks best on a 4-hour. Whoops. Yeah, so I can't even count how many times this channel is proven to be validated. We can if you'd like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 10, 11, 12. Like at least 14 times. So we know this makes sense to go off of a trading plan. We got plenty of info to prove that it's working. It's always rejecting the top of this upwards trend, and it's always bouncing off the bottom of this upwards trend. Now, it did have a failed breakout here. Nice close above. People are getting bullish, probably targeting 1800. Was holding it for a while, eventually rejected here. Bounced off the bottom, rejected off the top. And then there's probably a way to do a mid-range as well, if you'd like. Let's see. Yeah, that kind of looks good. There's other tools you can use, like the fan, I think, pitchfork, but that kind of looks perfect to me. So what am I waiting for to be really bullish? This kind of reminds me of price action in the beginning of 2021 when Bitcoin was about to pump through previous all-time high around 1400. It's kind of the same upwards channel we were having. You're waiting for that breakout like we had here. Like this is where you want to go long, and just the trade was invalidated. But, I'm waiting for, I'll just try it again. It's worth the risk, because if it does, then I'd be targeting 2K at least, right? So that'd be a strong run up. Again, since it's made this, so we had a market structure break like February 9th here. See this? We had a 4-hour close below the trend. It was the first one we had since mid-January. Had the couple days of just messing around here. Really, this was just the dip to buy. We didn't know that at the time, right? Because it didn't look that bullish at all. And then all of a sudden, nice run back up. Reclaim the trend here. Put a little thing there. And then went up and rejected the top again. So draw this for yourself. It's very helpful. Yeah, if we flip this trend, especially 1780, that's where I would want to be going long. And really stop loss below here. You can maybe add now if you'd like. It's just not confirmed. But I'd be targeting 2040. Right? Something like that. If you're more of a low time frame trader, you could look at like the 30-minute. Doesn't look great for a long right here. To probably wait for a retest of that line. You either leave it back below here, or just if you want to keep it really tight, then you can keep it below those lows there. See? All right, so that's Bitcoin ETH. Everything looks great. We're just kind of waiting for bullish confirmation to get us out of this bear market. So just make sure you are checking your charts on high time frame, and yeah, just don't be blindly gambling is really what it all comes down to. When you're just looking at high time frame charts, you're waiting for bullish confirmation, bearish confirmation. You have all your levels marked out. you're waiting to see how price reacts, that's when you're fully in control, right? If you're just, long in here or shorting here because Trader SZ or Barney tells you to, that's not the best advice. You know what I mean? Our job, my goal is to teach you guys how to do this on your own. Hold yourself accountable for your own decisions. Okay? So I did Bitcoin, ETH. I think I'm going to go into, I did say I'll do Solana, so I'll look at it real quick. Let's look at the daily. Yeah, so I know I posted like 2 weeks ago to short 2370. Whoever held that, congratulations. I didn't, even though it's pretty much ran it all the way back up since, especially here the other day. But that's a big level to get into because that was like 2 weeks ago. That was Monday's range, $25 to 2370. We pretty much just rejected it again. So, yeah, this was last week's Monday's range, 2248 to 2370 again, and we're currently rejecting that mid range at $23, as you can see right here. Why do I have this drawn? I'm not sure. I still think we could definitely dump a little bit. I mean, it doesn't look fantastic. Again, I'm waiting for bullish confirmation. You start holding 2370, like, and not just completely retracing the entire move, then I'm like, okay, that's bullish. We're going to at least, I'd say, these highs to take out this liquidity here, $27. So that's Solana. We'll do VRA, USD. Looks like I've already drawn this out for one of you guys before. Yeah, I'm not sure where I did this last, but all we did last time was take a nice horizontal trend line right off the all-time high here in June 2022. You can see it was rejected here, right? So it's like an important resistance. Never, I guess you can kind of like even drag it down there if you'd like, because that makes sense too. You can see how, rejected, wicked in, rejected, and then these ones make more sense just by putting it where that daily open was. But for this case, we're going to leave it at the top, and you can see that extreme wick into it and swing failure pattern. Here, it was getting really close. I kind of just drew a support line there for you guys, and then we finally had that reclaim, like pump straight through, close above, retest the support. See, that's exactly what I was showing you for Bitcoin earlier. Like if you were short here, right, and you had your, let's say your stop loss, I don't know, up there, targeting the bottom again. This is just a ridiculous example, but you were expecting these highs get taken out, which they did, but it didn't reject. Instead of rejecting, it closed above, started holding that previous resistance as support, and then started trying to make a new high. So that in that case, you would just close it, right? You don't even want to wait for that stop loss to get triggered because the probability of it getting triggered has increased tremendously. So currently, I'm assuming whoever wanted VRA, what's his name again? Whoops, I lost it. But you are holding spot. You are currently in price discovery, my friend. At least going off of Bitfinex. I don't know how old this coin is. It says from June 2022. Yeah, I can do some fundamental analysis for you if you'd like. Let's see. Veracity. Is this the right one? I assume so. 104 million market cap. We got a lot of 24-hour trading volume. 30 million. It's basically 30% of the entire market cap. It's pretty cool. Fully diluted valuation is 1.1 billion. So that basically just means if the total supply was circulating, then that's what the market cap would be. Maximum going back. It seems a little bit older than it was on Bitfinex, so maybe I'm not looking at the perfect chart for you. Looks like it was at 8 cents in October 2021. So I'm going to have another look at it for you. It seems I'm doing it wrong. Let's see. Maybe KuCoin. Yeah, it looks much different, doesn't it? All right. So I apologize for that. I was unfamiliar with the coin. Yeah, it's pretty old. So let's look at the weekly. Nice runs up. If you've purchased down here around like 0.002 of a cent, I would just hold it, man. Take some profits for yourself just so you don't feel like shit if it does reject. I'd be looking for this level here, like 1.5 cents. It could definitely run back up there. So all I'm doing is looking at these lows beginning of last year. You can see how it was held as support. And then we finally had that market structure break, close below, retest, inverted hammer, and then that was just game over. That was bear market, right? That was just a very clean market structure break, retest. In that specific case, if you ever see that again, you go short, stop loss above the high of the previous week, targeting either those lows, wherever. Usually I would just target that, which happened in less than 2 weeks and went even lower for a 90% dump. Wait, really? Hold on. Yeah, 85% dump from these lows. So I wonder what it was going up from 8 cents. So it's got a long way to run. If you're holding spot, my friend, I would be looking for a reclaim of like 0.015, 0.017, that range. And then I would definitely be pretty bullish, probably expecting these highs. And you can just draw kind of like a new range to work with. Okay? So that's VRA. Optimism was next. I believe that was it. So Optimism is definitely a new coin. Came out May 2022. We've currently been in price discovery for a while. So like I had this resistance at $2.07 here, which was like the last high that we made before the bear market, whatever you want to call it, the 80% retrace, right? That's what I would say it is. Whoops. Yeah, 70% retrace. So, yeah, we had this downtrend, ended up flipping it the end of December, right around Christmas time, just like everything else. Nice run up. We can do this. This was technically all-time high. You could tell how it rejected right on the spot here in August. And when we came up to this time, made new all-time highs, kept wicking above. So this was crazy price action those few days. Like, very difficult to decide what you would do. Anyone who was going short would have been making money, but then they just constantly would have been tested, made another high here, January 25th, etc. So the best thing to do was to go on low time frame and just simply scalp it, or just hold long, hold spot, whatever. Then we made new all-time highs here. Nice daily close at $3.09. This was last Monday's range, going from $3.10, $2.76. And on the current 4-hour, you can tell, we've had this strong wick back into the range again. And, we could possibly close above, but it's not looking too great. We're definitely seeing a little bit of a pullback. For anyone wanting to trade Optimism, I would draw out that last Monday's range for yourself, 276 to 311. A reclaim, and I would go long with stop loss technically maybe below here, targeting top of the range, or if you want to keep it tight, right there, right? Technically, the trade isn't invalidated unless we make a new low. We'd be taking profit at midpoint and then closing position entirely at 312. As always, pumps up here, starts holding a support. We re-long. Maybe it has a wick somewhere around here where we can use some validation or just hold it below the midpoint. And then it's kind of this price discovery again. Who knows where it goes to? I would go off of an indicator of sorts if you have one. Asteroids belt, I'd probably be targeting like the 380 range for this third reversion line. As you can see, they are usually the top of a move up. So that would be my plan if it was to flip the top of that range. Okay. If it doesn't, there's no guarantee it even closes above back in. I mean, it seems like it's going to, but maybe the next one just goes back down. You can see it's wicked into it. 1, 2, rejection here. So technically it's showing you it's a short and validate it. Maybe they're just going for liquidity hunt. If it ends up coming back down again, then, and rejects still, then I'd be looking more for a short. They've given you a nice high to go off of for your stop loss. And then I would target bottom of that range, 230. And that would be the short play if it rejects the range. A reclaim of the range, we go long. Another rejection of the range, we short it down to the next one. Okay? So hopefully that's been helpful for everyone. I think I've gone over everything everybody requested. We focused on Bitcoin and Ethereum a lot. We did Solana, we did Optimism and VRA. Last thing, kind of long shots, super risky, but I think Bonk is going to pump really hard. So this is the 1,000 Bonk contract on BYBIT. Get above this, like, 900 sat, whatever you want to call it, level. Then I want to go long, stop loss below here, and I'd honestly be targeting new highs because you saw how much this thing had ran, at least here, right? Confirmation for that, you'd go off these highs, you'd want to see a reclaim. Okay, so that's not saying go max long Bonk, but I definitely not financial advice, would recommend having some exposure to it in case it does run. Because in my experience, I've seen meme coins, especially Doge in 2021, just absolutely run. And this one is still very young. I think it definitely has potential. One that pumped, the last coin we're going to look at for the day is Acro. This is the daily. So we had this ridiculous daily here on Christmas where it pumped like 250% in one day. Just like almost, I don't know, 3.5 times your money. And then wicked all the way back down here. So I have a nice trend. Horizontal support resistance level here right where it closed. And my other one is going from these lows here in September. And if we go down to low time frame, you can see how it's kind of just been in between these levels for a while. Slight dip, reclaim. And I don't even know what to make of this. It's definitely a scalper's dream. Because right now you could just go short, stop loss above that hourly high. And I would target at least, 7% or even back down here. Yeah. And then you have like tight stop, right? You don't want to see another high printed. And you can just target these lows. Right? So that's what I would be looking at if I was to scalp it. However, I do not want to trade going into the weekend. A new coin coming out, Blur. I don't even know what this thing does, but I know it was just listed on Coinbase. And it's definitely going to pump, in my opinion. I drew this little trend here. Not that it's worth anything, but it's still very young. It was only listed on BYBIT 2 days ago. Had a pretty strong run up from its listing, 65%. Even to now, still 35. It's up 10% today. I did go long at like 92 cents, and I'm still holding that. If you could wait for a pullback, do I think it's going to run me back to my entry? Maybe. It very well could. My stop loss is like this right now, and I'm targeting these highs, $1.20. So if it comes back down to 92 cents, or maybe just a retest of this downtrend, hold on, do you see that? Something like that, right? So if price was to come down here, and then kind of taps it and wicks back up and closes above, that kind of be like where I would want to go long myself, right around 90 cents, 88, 87 cents and 90 cents, somewhere within there. And you can still keep that stop loss, tight, or since you got a better entry, you could keep it a little more. Really, it's not invalidated unless we go below that low. But again, the coin is so young. It can be very volatile, as you can see it was here, which, if you're on the right side of it, can make a lot of money for yourself. One thing I always do for the math is if I'm doing a 2K sub account, I go 20x long. Maybe I catch the long here, right around 90 cents. I'm targeting $1.20. Maybe it makes a new high, and I think it'll go to like $1.40. I'll go to my indicators for that. It's still too young. Maybe the 5-minute will help. Not really. But either way, let's just say, for the sake of it, that it went to these highs here. It's technically like a 35% pump. 2K, 20x long. Pumps 35%. What is that? What's 35% of 40 grand? I gotta do the math. I don't know, like 14 G's. So you could turn 2 grand into 16,000 one trade. So that's kind of what I would be looking at. Same thing for Bonk. Just create a sub account. Don't like put all of your money into it. Just set aside what you'd like to put, what you're willing to risk, what you're willing to lose in order to win that amount of money. Usually I just go with 2 grand. For some people who don't have that kind of money, even just $100, you would still do the same amount of your money. So 7 times your money. If you're 20x long, every time it pumps 5% from your entry, you're doubling whatever you were risking. So yeah, hopefully that was helpful. This ended up being a little longer than I anticipated, but hopefully it was helpful for you guys. I appreciate if you like and subscribe to the channel. If you are not currently trading, I appreciate if you sign up under my BYBIT link. The link for that is in the description of this video. And depending on how much you deposit, you can get reimbursed by BYBIT up to 5 grand. So if you deposit a decent amount, I think even they'll give you up to like $300-400 for free, which is cool. All right, so that's pretty much it. I think I've given a pretty deep dive into the technical analysis of everything, and I'll see you again for the weekly open. All right, have a good day, guys.